Gary's learning the hard way about old gaskets. All the rings are on. All the rings are on here now. All of the surfaces I cleaned up. I've got a new gasket set. I think I need to fit the chain tensioner now before. Yeah, it goes down here, doesn't it? And the wheel faces out this way. I had to double check that. So we're going to end up here somewhere, and the spare link will go in there. Okay, I won't be able to get the head on without breaking that chain at the top, taking that little cable tie off. I've only done that to keep it neat. But they are all new rings. Your biggest issue with rings, if you're ever changing them, the biggest concern, apart from the fact that the bores might be worn, is you have to make sure your ring gaps are all on different sides. There's one there, there's one on the other side, there's one. I mean, the manual tells you really specifically, put one here, one there, and one there. They just need to be out of the way of each other, because if at any point they turn and they meet each other, then you're going to be losing an element of compression there. So that's it. So I'm going to try and get the block on, because I feel like the cylinder's on, because I feel like that's the next step for me. And then I don't mind leaving it there today. Let's get Gary's bike finished. I think Rabjab's bike's fine. And in a way, that's kind of the hard part done. We'll get it timed up. I've been talking about dry first runs, but actually it won't be fully dry, the compression test, because I'm using oil now to lubricate, so that it all kind of slides into itself properly. So it won't be fully dry, but maybe, bless you, but maybe I won't try and kick it over for a day or two to let that all settle, so that we get a more genuine reading. Cool, so I'm going to put the cylinder on in a minute with, of course, the gasket, which is already there, and then we'll go from there. So what two of us learnt today was that sometimes the simplest of jobs can take a long time. One bolt, a bolt we had off last week, rounded today, and took 2 hours to sort it out, you know. And then this, getting the pistons into the block and the block on, so difficult, so much harder than I expected. You've got two options. You put the pistons on first, slide the cylinder in, or you put the pistons into the cylinder and line it all up and put the pinion pins in and the clips. But I think tomorrow I'll be fresh and I'll get it done, or Tuesday or whenever. And his bike should not be running lean anymore. So not much filming done, but lots and lots of work done today. New clutch plates, new cable, and this and that. Take it easy.
The next day.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Long weekend for me. I'm shattered. I wasn't too well last week. No major symptoms, just really low on energy all week. But it didn't stop me doing things. I was out there. I paddled the Olympic site kayaking in London. And I did lots of stuff last week anyway, but my energy was really hammered. I'm not sure I updated you, but someone bought the phaser for 150 quid, just threw it in a fan and took it away. I've still got some of the parts I took off to sell, so it should even out. I should end up with about the same amount. I think I've worked it out now, and I think the new system is have it set up and ready like that, and have the pins coming from both sides, because the hardest part was getting the pins in and then getting the retaining clips in while it was in here. So I think guiding it down now, getting the pinion in on both sides and then the clips on both sides might work. And then today's biggest thing is that the DNA over there, someone has bought it and I'm delivering it to Cheltenham today, so 5-hour round journey. I didn't want to actually. people know what I'm like. I don't like the deliveries. But his first delivery was to Manchester, and I was like, nah, no way. That's a 9-hour round journey. I said, you know, nah, it's not worth my time at all. And then he said Cheltenham, and I looked on the map, and it looked so much closer that I thought, yeah, it's all right. But in reality, it's not. I'm still 5 hours on the road for no profit as well, which is not, you know, it's Steve gets the money, which is great. So yeah, so I want to do 2 things on that today. It's been starting every weekend, so I want to take the battery off and go and give it a charge for an hour or 2 before I deliver it, so that he's got it. I have a feeling the new guy isn't going to be riding it regularly, or at least not for a couple of weeks. So I want the battery to be at its best, so that when he does try and fire it up, it will. Alright guys, with Rabjab's help, I did get this barrel seated. I have put this 10 in. So this is nuts, because I've watched my video, and this is absolutely the side the wheel came off. The wheel was on here, you know. And I just watched a young girl on YouTube who also put her wheel on this way round, but it can't be because the push pin on the spring comes down here, and that's the exhaust side, and that's this side, and it wouldn't push onto anything. It needs to push onto that, and that's how it tensions. Now I watched 2 other videos, a 175 and a 200, and that's the other way around. It has got to be the other way around. There is no other explanation for it. So I'm going to spin it and see if that makes more sense. If it's logical, it's got to be right, really. I'm also going to pop the pistons off again, put them in as I did before, sensibly, and me and Rabjab will line up again as we did before, because that worked best. By the way, what we did was we just come in from both sides there. We lined up, and it was much easier. I really don't know what's going on here. I think someone assembled this engine the wrong way around to start with. But then how was it functioning? I think the actual tensioner wasn't doing anything. I think they put it down under here, and it was just sitting there, not really doing anything. But I feel like it should be pushing on that end, on the other way around. See, look, chain comes up here. Tensioner pushes on that and tensions the chain, of course. So alright, I'm going to spin it and we'll try again the other way around. It kind of just makes sense. Right, so really confusing about the cam chain tensioner, but this is the way it goes. It goes like this. Now I've had to turn the chain around to make sure I can get, this is the new pin, it's a punch one, so I slide on the securing pin, and then I flare out the ends. I have got a flaring tool here to do that. You get that flaring tool with your chain delinkers for a motorbike, just so you all know. Head gasket, I didn't like the fit of the head gasket. I mean, I've made it work. I had to kind of bore the holes a little bit, and I try, you know, it is the right way round. But I'm really not overly happy with the way it fits, but I think it will be fine. And that's, this kit is from David Silver, and you know, David Silver is top for Honda parts, so I think hopefully it's alright. It should be alright. So we're down and the chain's up here and I've got the link on, but before I go nuts, I'm going to rotate this engine backwards and make sure that nut is up in the middle and that them lines are straight, and that down here we're on top dead center, because if we weren't, then it's all been for nothing really. So if I put this back to T here, we should be pointing up. Now we could be 1 tooth off there. Let me check how close we are on that T. We are on that T. Let me just nip it down a little bit. Now I know there's a direction of travel. We're actually going in the direction of travel. I think we're still slightly left there. Look, slightly left. And if we look at the straight lines, so I'd say we're 1 tooth off there, and that's a good. It didn't look it earlier. So really simple. We take the chain off. We spin the cam a little bit to the right, one to the right, and we put it back on. So I'm going to do that, put it back on, check that it looks top dead center, and then we'll go back to wherever we are. So we're on the T, and I would say we are absolutely bang smack in the middle there, straight lines down there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to secure it. That's these two over here, and I'm going to flare them out as we should. And from there, I will, don't know actually, maybe throw this back in the frame so that when I'm back from holiday or tomorrow, we can do a compression test, a dry one basically with the kick start. Now there's a tiny bit of lubrication in there, but overnight that should settle down and disappear really. Right, let me get this chain nipped up, and then I might with Jeb's help at least throw it back in the frame.
Throw it back in today.
Just for convenience.